Okay, I have 10 o'clock. I will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024 to order. Can you guys tone it down a little bit, please? And thank you. Would you please rise and join us in the invocation and pledge, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you that we live in a nation where so many people can gather freely, Lord. We thank you for this country and all the freedom that it gives us to participate in a commission meeting or whatever meeting, whether it be a Board of Education meeting, a deacons meeting. It's free here in this country because of all the great people in this room and all the great people that surround us. Sometimes, Lord, I am present in body, but yet a million miles away. I just ask that in unlimited God, such as you, Lord, that everyone in this room, whatever they're dealing with today or tomorrow, or even thinking about from yesterday, that they know that they can lay it at your feet, Lord, and that you, the Almighty Lord, can take care of whatever problems they have. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know several of you have signed up. I think there are a few of you have signed up to speak publicly. Are you wanting to speak publicly or at the public hearing? Because we will open a public hearing at 10:05 and you can speak at that time regarding the public hearing. If you have public comment that you would like to speak to before that, that's what we will do. There's two different things going on. Unless somebody wants to correct me if I'm wrong.
You just want to go through them one by one and ask the individuals who
Okay.
signed up. There's a clear record.
And you're out here.
They just want to know if you want to speak at the public hearing.
Rocky?
Just public comment.
Okay. You want to go ahead?
Good morning, Commission. First, I'm here to actually thank you and recognize my staff. I want to thank you because in October of 2020, when we reached out to the county commission, I was trying to become a test county. We were trying to become a test county, Harrison County Assessor's Office for the new IS World Program. And with the county commission's letter of approval that they would back, whatever support time and money that we needed to help with this, we did that. And I'm here today because something this year, the state tax department did something I've never seen them do in the 40 years I've been involved with them, between working for the state tax department, working as a vendor and working as an assessor. Never seen them do that. They created a special award for the 5 test counties that worked on the IS World Program. And I have some of my staff here, and because the award says my name on it, but they did all the work. And when we asked to be a test county, when I was trying with the tax commissioner to be a test county, every one of my staff was asked if they wanted to do this or not. And they all agreed to do it, knowing how much extra work it was going to be on top of our everyday duties. So I'd just like to read the plaque to you all, and I just want to, commission and everyone to acknowledge my staff for the hard work they've put into this over the years. We're still working. We still got a lot to fix, but it's come a long way. And a lot of it really helps our citizens with the online programs and stuff that we have now. It says County Appreciation Service Award 2024. Presented to Joseph Rocky Romano, Assessor of Harrison County, in recognition for assessor and staff contributions for implementation of IS World Program. Please, all of you, would you give my staff a big hand for the work they've done?
Thank you. Good job. Letitia Clutter. Okay.
I'm not speaking on behalf of any water board, so is this the appropriate time?
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you. If you're speaking for or against something, that would be at the hearing. But if you just want to have a
Okay,
public
then
comment,
I'm-
then. Brittany,
Hearing.
Al. Mary,
Hearing.
Natalie,
Hearing.
Roy, Atkins,
Here.
okay. Steve, Morgan,
Hearing.
Tim Lindsay. Jason Lane.
Hearing.
Now, is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Okay, hearing none,
I'd like to.
just publicly, not for or against the boundary adjustment, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, can you identify yourself, please?
Sure. This is Shannon Welsh, and I just wanted to announce that I'm running for House of Delegates. Early voting is open. If you haven't voted already, it's open at both the Annex and the mall. Today, tomorrow, and Friday, and also Saturday until 4 p.m. And of course, Election Day also. But anyone that hasn't voted, I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have 10:06. So I will open the public hearing for Summit Park PSD for Summit Park's PSD boundary adjustment. I'm going to go over an outline for the public hearing. Everyone who wishes to speak must sign up. Those who are against the Summit Park PSD boundary adjustment will go first. Those who wish to speak that they are in favor of the Summit Park PSD boundary adjustment will go second. Every person who wishes to speak will have 3 minutes to do so. You do not have to use the entire 3 minutes, but if you have time left over, you cannot allot it to someone else. There is a countdown clock that we will be utilizing. This is an opportunity to to voice your opinion to the commission. But remember, the commissioners do not answer any questions in the public hearing section. Okay, are there any that wish to speak for or against? Okay. Brittany, do you want to go?
My name is Brittany Clutter. I'm a resident of Summit Park, and I'm here today to voice my concerns regarding the Wolf Summit Power Plant. Gas-powered power plants emit significant air pollutants and are extremely harmful to people living near the power plant. Historically, these harmful plants are typically placed in low socioeconomic and disadvantaged communities. It lowers the value of property and causes detrimental impacts to the environment and health of residents living within 3 miles of the plant. A study in GeoHealth found that emissions from flaring and venting of the gas cause significant harm to public health. These plants emit carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, volatile organic compounds, hazardous air pollutants, greenhouse gases, and fine and coarse particulate, which cause development of heart or lung diseases such as asthma and bronchitis, reduced lung function, heart attacks, strokes, and premature births and birth defects. Natural gas power plants also emit pollutants that elevate the risk of blood cancer and lung cancer. Then there's water contamination, which will compromise wildlife ecosystems and drinking water supplies, and in some cases cause contamination, which has led to higher risk of pregnancies with preterm births. There's also the danger of a gas leak, which can create an explosion or fire if ignited, which brings me to the proposed plant being placed precariously on top of an abandoned coal mine. This in itself brings about other safety issues that could decimate the community. Where is the environmental study on the plant? I'd ask to see it, but I'm sure it's been altered to fit your agenda. I won't even go into the behind the scenes underhanded tactics you all have been doing to make this disaster of a plan a reality. But the behavior has been abhorrent and you should all be ashamed. When does the welfare of others become a bigger priority than money? There are alternative, safer forms of energy that could be placed in Harrison County. If you all want this so badly and feel comfortable with the ramifications, put it in your backyard. If you're so hell-bent on causing destruction, I challenge you to find a safer place in Harrison County for the plant, farther away from communities and not on top of an abandoned coal mine, which was deemed unfit and unsafe to build the new 911 center. But sure, let's throw a power plant on top now. The residents of Summit Park, PK, and Montpelier deserve better.
Letitia?
My name is Letitia Clutter, and I'm speaking as a private citizen, not on behalf of any public entity. I cannot make sense of two water boards squabbling over who's going to be a service provider for a power plant that could potentially negatively impact our water supply. Gas-powered power plants pose grave risk to the health of the people and the environment. Emissions from these plants contain nitrous oxide and mercury, which combine with other volatile organic compounds to create particulate matter of 2.5 micrometers, which is 30 times smaller than the width of a human hair. These tiny particles can be inhaled deeply into the lungs and enter the bloodstream. These dangerous emissions are responsible for an increase in early mortality. They contribute to a 17% increase in lung cancer, 12% of all ischemic heart disease, and 3% of all COPD, at a cost of $9.1 million a year in health cost and lost productivity. Adverse environmental effects include reduced plant biodiversity, eutrophication of water bodies leading to harmful algae growth, acid rain, and discharge of polluted water will also threaten our local ecosystem. These risks are relatively low in plants built, these risks are a reality in plants built on solid ground. The proposed site for this plant is an abandoned mine site. According to the U.S. Forest Service website, cave-ins at abandoned mine sites are unpredictable and the most minor disturbance can cause one. The Mine Safety and Health Administration website classifies abandoned mine sites as dangerous and potentially fatal. I cannot fathom thinking it would be a good idea to put a gas-powered plant on land that could be unstable enough to lead to explosions or dangerous leaks. The EPA website states a safe distance from a gas-fired power plant is a 3-mile radius. The location of this plant will trap many of us in Montpelier, PK, and Summit Park within that radius. It is unconscionable that you are talking about revenue and jobs and turn a blind eye to the health and safety of hundreds of people who will live in the shadow of this plant. It's money over lives, and that's reprehensible. I'm not against economic growth or energy upgrades, but there has to be a better, safer location for this plant in Harrison County. And my information has come from the EPA website and the Global Energy Monitor as far as the health and safety concerns. Thank you.
Anyone else to speak against the boundary adjustment? Mary?
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Mary Seymour, General Manager of Summit Park PSD. I'm here to state on behalf of the Summit Park PSD Board, we would like that it be on record that we are against the proposed changes in the district boundaries. The district has had water service to the property in question since the 80s, and there's a main water line through a corner of the property itself. We have two sewer mains crossing through portions of the property since 1988. One main coming from Henry Ford Avenue crossing through to Tibbs Avenue, and one main crossing through Salvage Road to the corner of the property and meeting with Summit Park Avenue. Summit Park PSD has a vested interest in the community of Summit Park. Summit Park was established during a time when the coal mines and factories were booming in the area. These companies brought water infrastructure to Summit Park. Along came company housing, and still some are remaining today. These businesses have long left our community, but their expansion and development have left their mark. It has been stated many times about the benefits that the proposed plant brings to Harrison County. But how does this benefit the Summit Park community, which is directly impacted by the construction and continuing operation of the plant? Summit Park PSD was not originally brought into the conversation and planning of the proposed plan. We respectfully asked the powers that be why, and we were told that we were too small of an operation and that there's no confidence in our ability to serve. Summit Park PSD offered to provide a contract rate equivalent to the Clarksburg utilities rates. We also feel that the PSD could arrange and deploy contractors and operators and make any repairs as necessary in emergencies. We understand and concede that the WSC power plant has aligned itself with the utilities of the city of Clarksburg. The WSC has the right to choose who provides this service. The PSD respectfully requests that no changes are made to our boundaries. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak against the boundary adjustment? Is there anyone out in the hallway that wishes to speak against the? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak against the boundary adjustment? Hearing none, we will move to those that wish to speak in favor. Al? I'm assuming that's what you want to.
My name's Albert Cox. I'm the president of Clarksburg Water Board. I've been on the water board for 24 years. This is an elected position, just like a county commissioner or a city councilman. And so I have a little bit of history on this. First of all, I want to state we're not in a squabble or a fight with Summit Park or any public service district, community we serve or whatever. We have a very good relationship with these folks. We were approached back when this first became an idea by the developers, the original developers, asking us, do you have the capacity to provide the water? And we said, sure, absolutely, we can do it. Our plant's designed for economic development and future growth. So that was the very first conversation we had. This is not our project. We're not leading the fight or anything for or against. This is not our thing. We're here to provide the water. Either way, we're going to provide the water. Whether it comes for us or it goes through Summit Park, it's our water. The question was, the developer came in and said, we want you, the water board, to handle this directly. And it was because of the size of our staffing. We don't have to, in emergency, make a call out because we have large crews, very professional people who can respond now. We don't have to call somebody. It was a matter of that and the size of our staff and things that they stated that they wanted the water department of Clarksburg to handle it directly. So we said, sure, we can do that too. But then we found out there's this boundary adjustment with the public service district. And technically, we didn't have the boundary adjustment. We couldn't do this. We've looked at it, and I know that all these other issues are there, but that's not my responsibility, not the water board's responsibility about the surface of the land and all the different things like that. That's for other people to work out. We're just talking about the water side, and we can handle it. And we're here prepared to answer the needs of this developer. They can make the request to the county commission to make this boundary adjustment so we can do it. And of course, we're willing to do that. Again, not because we're trying to harm Summit Park directly or indirectly. We want to see the project go forward. It means a lot to the community, economic development, and future growth too. So we stand in support of the boundary adjustment only because the developer has requested that they want us to serve and provide the services to the proposed plant. So I was not originally scheduled to speak. I apologize. I'm not reading any notes. I can only speak from here, as I always do. But the other gentleman who's speaking for us is stuck on the interstate with all that traffic. So anyhow, I appreciate your support. And that's kind of my remarks. Thank you. I may have missed a lot of stuff. I wasn't planning to speak. Thank you.
Next on the list, I have Natalie Stone.
Morning, Commissioner. My name is Natalie Stone, and I represent the North Central Building Trades. And my organization represents the men and women that have been contracted to construct the project if it moves forward. There are about 35 to 40 people out in the hallway that you can't see, several here in the audience. To save time, we asked not everyone to sign up, but if you would give us permission, I'd like them all to stand just so you can see who's actually in favor of it before I make my remarks, if that's all right with the commissioners. So if our members would please stand. Thank you. We come today to speak in favor of the project for multiple reasons. They've made a commitment to the local workforce in the state of West Virginia. In today's economy, our men and women need jobs, home, where they can be with their families in the evenings. They can make a livable wage.
Oh, okay, sorry. Where they can make a livable wage with a good retirement plan and health insurance for their families. It also helps the school systems in the community. Our local unions have apprenticeship programs that can help train the next generation. So not only can the men and women in this room work here in the county and stay here with their families, but their children can create a future to do the same and stay close to home, which is near and dear to all West Virginians' hearts. So we ask that you make the adjustment, continue to move this project forward for the economic impact that it brings to the community and to the lives of our men and women. And we appreciate your time this morning.
Next is Roy Atkins.
Morning, thank you. The shortest speech that I have ever given in front of a group like this was, I concur with the previous speaker. That being said, there are some things that I think that you need to think about in this project. I'm in favor of this project, and I feel sorry for you ladies that spoke about what you said and what you are. Myself, my house sits 23 feet above an open pit mine, or not an open pit mine, but deep mine. That's something that you have to live with every day. Straight across, and the other side of the hall is a house that went fishing over top of the mine. Keep these things in mind while you're building this place, or you're liable to be in more trouble than you are. The second thing is there's been a lot of people from out of state that have discovered that there's gold at these sheer hills. That's modern progress for you. You might as well. Okay? Because no matter what you do and how you go about it, it's going to be bad everywhere. As long as people in the public eye think that they have to wear a tie and a jacket over top of them in the middle of a 90-day air, get up out of an air-conditioned building, come into an air-conditioned car, get to an air-conditioned work site, then somebody's going to be building powerhouses to run the air conditioner to keep people like that. So. The next point is you can't fix the problem with the thinking that created. Do I need to say more? And the third thing is ladies and gentlemen, as much as you don't want to hear it, the end of the world is coming. Whatever happens to the power, when it's done, for 10 or 12, 15 years. Thank you.
Steve?
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for what you do for the community. I live within eyesight of the proposed area for the new project. And my reason for being here is basically support the community. Keep our people working, training, as Natalie had mentioned, our apprenticeship programs. Kids get out of school. They have a potential place to grow. This powerhouse will support power for the community and future projects. And it's just a start. There's a lot of clean energy coming too, but we need to survive till everything gets turned around with future technology. And I do support the project. Thank you.
Morgan?
I'd like to thank the commissioners for the chance to speak. I rise as a lifelong Harrison County resident and the business rep of the sheet metal workers. We are completely in favor for this project, not only in regards to the jobs, the apprenticeships, the effects on the tax base for the Clarksburg Water Board and the County Commission that this brings. I'd also like to make a statement to the people in Summit Park. We feel we are with our apprenticeship programs, we are the chance to bring people out of the economic disadvantage like it is in Summit Park. So with that being said, I think everybody needs to support this project. Also, the West Virginia Energy's future in terms of West Virginia maintaining being a worldwide thriving energy production base. We must adopt, like in recent years, you've had the state legislature remove and now allow the potential for future talk on nuclear power plants. This was first mentioned in probably 2015 or so. Ohio, Pennsylvania have built multiple gas burning power plants. We're just sliding behind. We must invest in coal in the future, clean coal, natural gas plants, nuclear power plants, solar, all of the above if West Virginia is going to maintain that foothold as a worldwide provider of energy. And with that being said, I yield my time. Thank you, guys.
Tim Lindsay.
Hey, I just want to say that I live in Harrison County, live in Shinson. I'm a local 132 member and I support the plant. I think.
Jason Lane.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here on behalf of the city of Clarksburg and the Clarksburg Sanitary Board. Our legal counsel was tied up in traffic and Mr. Stranko has now made it here, so I'd like to get permission for him to speak on our behalf as well. The city of Clarksburg stands by the placement of the power plant and the building of the power plants. We're behind the economic development of allowing upwards of 1,000 of our union brothers and sisters the opportunity to work and maintain their future lives and with their family. Not only that, this opportunity provides 30 to 50 full-time jobs once the power plant is completed that will remain in place the duration of the lifetime of the power plant. With that, I'd like to yield my time with your permission to Mr. Stranko.
Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners. I apologize. I was admiring the Fairmont construction project. I represent both the Water Board and the Sanitary Board. And what we'd like to tell you is that we are proud of our organizations. We are world-class utilities and we have award-winning utilities here in Clarksburg. We are ready and able to support this important project for the economic strength of our community. We don't suggest that Summit Park is not competent as a utility. They're a fine utility, but what they do is what they do, which is residential services and as a public service district. We are fully staffed professional organizations that have full-time public servants who are ready 24/7 to provide service to this important development. So we are supportive of the development and of the economic progress it brings to our community, and we are ready to provide this service as the direct provider to the Wolf Summit project. So with that, subject to your questions, that concludes my comments.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of the boundary adjustment? Rocky, one more time out there, in favor. Is there anyone out there that?
Nothing that we can speak in favor.
Anybody want to
Anyone on Zoom wish to speak in favor of the boundary adjustment? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public hearing. We will move on to the regular agenda. Number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 3, payroll change notices A through C. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve payroll change notices A, B, and C.
Motion to approve payroll change notices A, B, and C. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We have no minutes and or amended minutes, correct?
That is correct, Madam President.
Number 5, requisitions, purchase orders, and invoices as shown on vendor list of payments. A, it's a pleasure.
Move to approve requisitions, purchase orders, and invoices on Exhibit A vendor list of payments.
Motion to approve requisitions, purchase orders, invoices as shown on A vendor list of payments. My only concern, and I've asked Laura to look into it, is the electric bill for the annex seemed a little bit extreme compared to.
Yes, Madam President.
Are we removing that one or just looking into
I
it?
think, I mean, probably. If we pay it, we'll get a
Credit?
or something.
Yeah, we'll have-
credit.
Okay, I just
I mean, does that sound fair?
Yeah, I just wanted
But
to know
it
if I
was a
needed
lot
to-
higher than the courthouse and.
wanted to know if I needed to amend the
And
motion.
that it's,
Yes, absolutely.
okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 6, exoneration corrective tickets, joint property applications as shown under Exhibit A. We only have exonerations, it appears.
That is correct.
Move to approve exonerations, Exhibit A.
Motion to approve exoneration, Exhibit A. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District, Series 2021 A and B Development District Number 3, White Oaks Project Number 2, and Series 2008 A, Charles Point Project Number 2, Northland Bay Improvements. We have 2A and B. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve A Series 2008 A for $5,461.50 and approve B Series 2019 A and B for $2,836.33.
Motion to approve number 7A and B as stated by Commissioner Hinkle. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Do we want to move number 19 up? Or do we want to finish everything else? Do you have any thoughts on that, David?
No, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
If you wish to move it up, we can move it up.
We will take.
But it is kind of nice having a crowd for a meeting.
It's just getting a little
I mean,
warm in here, you know?
I know,
It's like
but
we
it's
freeze.
like,
It's nothing personal. You're welcome to stay. We can wait.
Yeah.
Stay and burn.
I mean, no offense, this is one of the bigger crowds that, I think it's the biggest crowd we've had
I
since
guarantee
being
it
in
is.
here, so. You know, it's kind of like, do we want to drag it on and
Good point. Okay, we
So-
are going to move to number 19, which is review, discuss, consider Summit Park PSD proposed boundary adjustment. What's the pleasure?
do we have a
Ma'am.
final proposal?
So in relation to the boundary adjustment, we have a final proposal. After the commission set the hearing, we went to the PSC and alerted the PSC of the development. And the petition, for lack of a better word, is pending at the PSC, subject to today's hearing. In the interim, prior to today, we did post with staff at the county commission the notice in 5 locations within the bounds of the PSD, which was impacted. We also went through the public notification process, and we have the affidavit of publication in the file as well. So the issue is certainly ripe for your consideration today. Under the statute, the commission is charged to look at 4 issues, the first being feasibility of the change, the second being preservation of public health, and then 3 and 4 are comfort and convenience of the area. So those are the factors I would like for you all to weigh today as you deliberate on the request for the boundary adjustment.
Thank you.
The PSC, they have the final say.
The PSC has the final review and say in the process, and like I indicated, the matter's pending. After today, whichever way the commission votes will notify the PSC of the outcome, and then we're charged to file, if you do vote in favor, an order which effectuates, pardon me, the change.
So now I can make the motion to go ahead and approve in advance to the PSC.
You can make that motion. You all may want to discuss some of the factors previously indicated, but that's in.
I'll make the motion and allow the president to open up for discussion.
So the motion is to approve the boundary adjustment and fix.
Adopt a final proposal and affix the signature and send on to the PSC.
Motion as stated by Commissioner Treecost. Is there any discussion? And I thought about all the things that you mentioned.
I mean, I've, nobody's shown a feasibility, but all I have heard that we want this project to continue, that we need to move on with the change in boundaries. But there's never been a feasibility study done that I've seen or had proposed to the commission involving this. So I just want to go on record that no party has brought a feasibility study.
Anything else? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Now we will move back up to number 8. Review, discuss, consider proposed sewer extension project, Arlington Rails to Trails.
You want me to take it?
Please.
Yeah, we received a request from a local utility. They want to lay an extension in the easement corridor which exists for the Arlington Trails section. Working with planning, we reviewed the underlying. Can I shut that door?
I was gonna say, do you want to give us a second to clear the room and we'll make it a
That's
lot
fine.
quieter? Thank you.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Finally found you. Thanks, Titus.
I'll close the door on the way out. Do you want me to close that door? Because it'll be loud out there for a little bit.
Please.
Thank you.
That was nice having a crowd.
Okay, now we can.
So the commission has a long-term lease on this section of the trail through the state's rail authority. We went back and checked the enabling or the vesting documents under the lease. They're specifically designed to allow the commission to co-locate utility corridors for utility expansion or extension projects, just like this one within the rail trail easement corridor. And that power is vested in the Harrison County Commission. So we can do it. I would just suggest that you all approve the sewer extension subject to negotiation and finalization of a acceptable right-of-way agreement, which I'll bring back to you all. We do have to take some non-traditional steps under the lease agreement to protect. This is a rail banked piece of property, so we have to have some protections in the easement agreement.
So it is rail bank,
It's rail banked, yes, sir.
so it could go
In theory, it
In
could
theory, it could go back.
In theory, it could go back, but it's a isolated deadlocked section of trail, which is not connected to either the north or the south from a corridor perspective. On the north, it's broken by the Goldeisen property. On the south, the recent CSX acquisition further islands the property.
Who's the utility?
It's Clarksburg
Clarksburg Water, or
Sewer. But they have not prepared an agreement. My request to them was going to be prepare the initial agreement, so you all don't incur the funds or the spend on that, and then I'll take their agreement, we'll tailor it to the obligations imposed on the commission by the State Rail Authority.
So basically today they're asking for use of the right of way for the line and to put a grinder lift station in.
Correct, and they've just given us a plat, but not a proposal for an agreement yet.
And go ahead and make the motion to allow you and the county administrator to negotiate a proposal to move forward with the extension of the project.
I'd like for Patsy to be part of that discussion. To represent the commission. That's all right with you, Patsy?
Yes, sir.
And I would note that we just did a similar project with Sun Valley in the Wilsonburg area, so there is precedent.
And they did, in those, they did it all underground, and I guess that's going to be my question here. If we make that same issue, is that it's all done below surface?
It's either
without them digging?
Yeah, the grinder, I don't know.
Well, grinder, they'll have to understand.
Have to talk to them about that, but it's all got to be subject to being, in theory, potentially ripped out in 30 years if it would ever get taken back into the system, which isn't a reality, but understand.
Any further discussion?
Oh, man.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 9, review, discuss, consider pilot and lease agreement amendment regarding Wolf Summit Energy Project, potential executive session pursuant to 69A4B9 to consider matters involving or affecting the purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, the investment of public funds, or other matters involving commercial competition, which if made public might adversely affect the financial or other interest of the county. What's the pleasure?
I'd like to move into executive session, invite all 3 commissioners and Laura and our legal staff, and at some point come back out and invite people from the Wolf Summit Energy Project after we just talked for a little bit.
Everybody understands the motion, correct?
Yes.
We want to identify the GE representatives by name, so we have a clear record.
Could you all state your names, please?
Good morning, I'm Chris Callis, I'm with Jackson Kelly in Charleston, representing Wolf Summit Energy.
Yeah, hi, Roy Felton with Wolf Summit Energy, I'm the Vice President, also the Chief.
First Source. Gotcha.
Clayton White. Gotcha.
Okay.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Any action to be taken on number 9?
Madam President, I make the motion to approve the pilot and lease agreement with Wolf Summit Energy subject to changes for council and property deemed appropriate.
Fair enough. Any discussion on the motion? Right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 10, review, discuss, consider FMLA for John Shellhammer.
We just have to give an official approval.
Make the motion to approve FMLA for John Shellhammer for the date of October 1st, 2024 through November 3rd, 2024.
Motion to approve the FMLA for John Shellhammer from October 1st, 2024 through November 3rd, 2024. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 11, review, discuss, consider increasing animal control fees.
So Madam President, currently at Animal Control, and for the past 15 years plus, we charge cities $2 a day for boarding, $5 for euthanasia. We would like to see it increased to $5 a day for boarding and $12 to $15 for euthanasia. And for a civilian to reclaim their dog, it's an average of $85. Currently, we charge first offense $20 to reclaim, $5 a day for boarding, $25 for no proof of rabies, $25 for no proof of tax tags. We'd like to keep those prices the same because we want them to be affordable so people can reclaim their dogs. We do have a reclaim fee of $50 for a second offense if the dog's at large and we receive no more than once. We would like to add a third offense for $100 straight out of the gate and increase the boarding fee for second offense to $10 a day and $15 a day for third offense. Also increasing fee if they don't have proof of rabies, second offense 45, third offense 65.
I want to make a motion to do it just as you said, Madam Administrator, but you said between $12 and $15 at the beginning.
Correct.
Just make it 12.
Why was there a 12 to 15? Is there a cost difference that you had that variation? That's my only question.
It is my understanding that like larger animals
depends
take
on the
more
size.
of the drug. So that would help compensate for that.
So then that's a determination that they were making, staff was making on what to charge for animal size.
That's what they would like to do is to increase it to charge per animal size.
Yeah, but they're having to make it a judgment call then, Peter. I'm a Madam Administrator and I don't want to do that.
So we're charging cities, going to charge cities $12 for euthanasia.
Yes, currently we right now charge $5 for euthanasia and we would like to increase that to $12. Well, 12 to 15, but as Commissioner Treecost said, to have it at 12.
Do we get a lot from the cities?
We get more than we would like to get.
So we trying to use this as a deterrent or to help cover our cost?
No, to help cover our costs, sir.
So are we charging enough, Patsy, to cover our cost to the cities that are using us as their?
You know, they're going to keep coming, Commissioner, that's for sure.
That's.
And if you want to change that 12 to a 13 or a 14 or 15, I don't care, but I want one set price because that way it makes it non-controversial.
Let's do 15.
I'll do whatever you say.
I'll say 15.
I'll
I
make
mean,
my
actually,
motion.
I
Do as-
would have suggested 20 or 25, but I mean, we're asking our people to handle
I'm fine.
an issue that the cities don't want to handle. And if we're going to be the
Well, let's make it 20.
fine,
You okay?
I don't care. That means all.
$20.
But then my motion is to adopt it as the county administrator has spoken up, except changing the $12 to $15 to 20.
Any further discussion?
I mean,
So the motion is to take on all the recommendations with the exception of the first one and make that 20. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, next is review, discuss, consider revisions to planning department fee schedule.
So Madam President and Commissioners, currently in your packet, you should see that our current fees now for our fee schedule for building permits and what we are proposing the new fees to look like for building permits and subdivision fees. For example, right now, we do not charge for demolition of a building or structure. We would like to start charging $50 to get that permit. our numbers. We've gathered different fees from different counties throughout the state. Some that are very proactive in their planning department or with building permits and everything. And we've tried to compare their numbers to what we have and try to come up with a median that would be fair.
I make a motion to approve the fee increase for subdivision fees and for other fees from demolition, addition, maintenance, land use, residential, floodplain, etc.
Are these new ones?
For the subdivision?
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
We've never had subdivision.
We have, with our new subdivision that we adopted, we have not adopted any new prices for those that subdivision.
And anything that started right now, the grandfather, right?
So we've
Yeah.
had some for subdivisions, but these are new for another subdivision. Is that what I just heard?
If I may, so we had some for subdivisions and then we also approved the SAUDO, this subdivision and land development rules, so to say. And with that, we're just trying to increase our fees to what we think is reasonable for this
And
time.
this will go with all subdivisions, new subdivisions.
New
New
subdivision.
subdivisions.
Right, new ones.
If you move on to set an effective date, applications received on X will follow.
January 1st, 2025.
Do people know that they're supposed to come here and, I mean, well, I mean, that's my point. I mean, I hear people doing things outside of a municipality and I didn't have to get a permit. Okay,
Some do, some don't.
how do we take care of that, do's and the don'ts?
We are trying to be more proactive with our planning department. At one time when we had Charlotte as well as the two gentlemen in planning, the guys were going out to different parts of the county. They had a schedule for the week. You know, if they see something, they would go and talk to that homeowner or that commercial developer, whatever it might be. So between word of mouth and, you know, constantly trying to be proactive, soon we'll have the other gentlemen start in planning. And so we can start, you know, visiting more parts of the county, make
I
sure.
saw
these
you
things-
pointing.
Oh, but I also think that would not hurt for staff that, no offense, Damien, but 5 and 12
Oh.
do afternoon shows and evening shows, that if we could get staff to just talk about what's going on in the county and the things that we need to do. I'm sure Damien would love to do an article on
I've
this.
always asked for education articles and I'm still on deaf ears, so I just
Did you
gave
hear that,
up.
Damien?
I didn't ask him, but I asked the editor. So that's all I
Yeah,
can
well,
say. And I gave up. So,
so.
but I think I think, no, people need to know what they do
Yeah,
and what's the citizens there that need to do other than pay their taxes. Fair enough.
fair enough for me. I'm all for getting the word out. I mean,
That way they know when Rocky's people are lurking around what they're doing. Well, not all of them will pay attention.
yeah, I mean, Laura and Charlotte will tell you that when I'm out and about, I drive by something and then I'm like, did they get a permit? Have they gotten permission to move this dirt? They're filling this valley in. I mean, and I hate to say it, but most of the time it's probably about 60% they haven't said a word till somebody goes and then they're like, well,
I thought you were pointing at Rocky, but I
no.
don't know when your people go out and if they see something,
Some
how
of them don't, you know, I have to admit, you know, we try to.
can we work with you to,
But we also, you know, keep in mind, we do the 3-year plan, so each section of the county does get, you know, a third and a third and a third is the way that 3-year plan set up. So we may miss a 1 or 2 years, but
But I'm just saying, if your guys go out and girls go out and see something,
Yeah.
possibly work together with the assessment.
Oh, no, I totally agree
In
with
some way.
everybody. I mean, it's,
I drive, when we drive around in the evening or weekend, it's like, why are we going here? Why are we going there? And I've been there, so I need to check it out, so. But the appraisers, they work together, they see something in somebody else's district, they let them know. But as far as that, some get permits for the county properties, some don't.
That's why I'm saying, if we could find out that they're doing some kind of repair or remodel from your people, maybe then we'd know where to go.
and if she gets the permits, then she can let him know.
Right, exactly, work
Right, we-
together, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
work
We
together.
do share that in.
Yeah, I was just saying, and that's another reason why I think people probably duck.
Wants to do it. Right,
exactly.
They want to duck Rocky as long as they can.
But yes, we can inform Charlotte if we pick up something that was.
And vice versa.
Yep.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion was to approve
Yes, ma'am.
fees as listed and stated.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Effective.
January
Effective
1st,
January
2025.
25. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 13, review, discuss, consider declaring property located at 28 C Street, Meadowbrook, West Virginia as an emergency nuisance within the framework of International Property Maintenance Code ordinance so that emergency measures abatement can be commenced. Keep on going, Johnny. Where's the picture?
I'd like to put this house on our last batch for the DEP. As you can see, there is no roof. The walls are barely standing. And we have gotten so many calls from the neighbors. It's unreal.
Is the yellow part attached to the,
You need to go to the last pictures. That's whenever it was still somewhat intact. It had gone through several hands.
It's right on the road. I mean, you can see it from Meadowbrook Road. Yeah, I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, it's gone through several hands and every time we get close to getting it tore down, they sell it. And then that's whenever we finally implemented where they could not sell it. So the last person that did get it, he said he was gonna tear it down himself, but he's taking forever and he hasn't done anything for like probably 2-3 months. And I just want to get it down. I'm tired of getting all those calls, and getting yelled at.
is the storage shed on the property too?
I think so. I will find out, but I think so.
Should we check to make sure that it's not under some kind of lease purchase before we do anything to it?
It's,
You know, we can check the record room.
Okay, I know a lot of these buildings are sitting around out here that they've done a lease purchase on and
not this house. This house is like, hey, do you want this house? I'll sign it over to you. That's how it's gone from hand to hand.
Okay.
What we could do, protect the county, or vote today to proceed with demolition, we could file in the general index a notice of demolition. Notice, which would put the world
okay.
on notice that this is going, it's gonna happen now. That sounds like a good idea.
Yes. That is a house on Meadowbrook.
Basically an order of demolition. We just reported in general.
That's what I was trying to think, where would you put it? But
Yeah, well,
it pertains to land, so
Yeah.
it could be in a deed.
It could be. But it would be something of record.
I mean, you wouldn't want to put it in a miscellaneous book. You want to make sure it's going to be somewhere. Well, they'll see it in.
By description.
I make a motion to declare the property located at 28 C Street, Meadowbrook, West Virginia as an emergency nuisance within the framework of the International Property Maintenance Code ordinance.
Okay. Commissioner Hinkle makes a motion declaring property located at 28 C Street, Meadowbrook, West Virginia as an emergency nuisance within the framework of the International Property Maintenance Code. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Thank you.
Number 14, review, discuss, consider order appointing Jeannie McNabb to the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District. What's pleasure? Motion to appoint Jeannie McNabb to the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Board. Is there any discussion?
I think that hopefully this will be a great appointment for that board. With her financial background, she can help that board and help keep it on track. And I think it's a good appointment, one of the best ones that I think we've put on that board for a while.
Great. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider reappointing Gary Fang to the Shortline Public Service District Board. Motion to reappoint Gary Fang to the Shortline Public Service District Board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 16, review, discuss, consider reappointing James Griffin to the Central Bus Board of Directors. It's a pleasure.
Move to approve reappointment of James Griffin to the Central Bus Board of Directors. And again, I'd like to say that he's been an excellent choice for the county, and I think he takes that very serious. I'm glad that he's willing to stay on.
Motion's been made to reappoint James Griffin to the Central Bus Board of Directors. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 17, review, discuss, consider budget revisions for prosecuting attorney.
Madam President, this is just the prosecutor moving money within her own budget, just between line items.
Pleasure. Motion to approve the prosecutor's budget revisions. Moving 3,000 from one to the other. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 18, review, discuss, consider a resolution to apply for Department of Energy for the 2024 Energy Efficient Conservation Block Grant for electric all-terrain vehicle to maintain rail trail.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Harrison County has been earmarked for $76,780. And it's through the Department of Energy for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. And I am proposing to apply for a couple electric side-by-sides for the maintenance department to be able to maintain the rail trail. And with that will also be included the chargers. And also Danny's got a list of extra things that can be put on there, like a winch or whatever that may be needed to pull
big logs out of the way or whatever, rocks or whatever it might need to be, but that was my thoughts on applying for this grant as to what to apply for. It's clean energy out on the rail trail. I mean, it's perfect. And it can be used later on, like when we get say the agriculture barn, it can be used out there for maybe moving hay from one place to another, or just working out there, period. Taking feed somebody or whatever the case might be, hauling some of their product.
Motion approved. Application.
And affix the appropriate signature. Motion to approve the resolution to apply for the Department of Energy for the altering the electric altering and affix the signatures. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Is this limited to the vehicles, or is there an amount that we're allowed to apply for?
Well,
Could we have, I guess my question is, could we have done this for the lighting at some of the sports fields that we have to replace?
That was not in the eligible
Okay.
product, because what there are eligible programs, what they're wanting is energy efficient, clean energy, anything that's going to affect the environment. And this was one of vehicle purchasing for electric vehicles, e-bikes, so on, was one of the criteria or one of the projects that were eligible to be approved.
Okay, I just was curious.
Yeah, my first thought was for the e-bikes for the sheriff's department. And the sheriff brought to my attention, which I had forgotten about, we had applied, partnered with City of Clarksburg last year.
For
on a couple
e-bikes. Yeah.
And so we were supposed to be getting half of that money to be able to do that. I contacted their new grant person, and this was last Friday. She was supposed to be getting me the paperwork on Monday. I'm still waiting to get it. So I know she's had things that she's had to attend, and so that's why I didn't go with the e-bikes again on this one. I
My
thought maybe the
understanding is
maintenance,
Clarksburg went ahead and purchased the vehicles.
They
Hopes
did.
would get the money. The money hasn't, they never. got
they're
the money.
waiting to do the drawdown, she said. So.
Cause
I
I've been
said-
asking about those bikes for a while.
Yeah, and I had a quite lengthy conversation with her, and she said, yeah, they've been approved, but we have not received anything from them. And I asked her to send me all the documentation, because I need record of it too.
Right.
So I'm still waiting on that. And I thought the maintenance vehicle for the rail trail would be a great idea.
Okay, that's all for me.
Okay.
I just wondered if there was any other projects.
And I did put in, of course, under the Homeland Security for the lights out there.
Right.
So we do have one outstanding out there, just waiting to hear back from them on that. We put in, but by the time I put all those applications in, I think it was like $2.5 million worth of requests.
Good.
So I hope we get it. Even if we get a couple, that's better than nothing.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we took care of 19. Number 20, administrators report.
I only have a few things. One, the pumpkins in front of you are from the pumpkin contest that the employees participated on. And you can see the winners. Wanted to try to hold them over for today's meeting, and then they can all take them back and do what they want with them. It was a cute little thing that they have done, and it was very creative. Tomorrow we'll have a costume contest that has to be, of course, tasteful, since we are open to the public, so they can't be all too scary. And then also, I can't say enough about John Spires, the county clerk, and the early election, especially here, what I've experienced in the GSA. I mean, everything has ran so smooth, and seeing all these people come in and out, like, it's been amazing. That's all I have.
Commissioner Treefeld? Hinkle?
I would just like to thank Laura for putting this contest together. I think it's it's her second one now that she's done here in the last year. I think it's great for the employees. I think they have fun. Christmas was great. I think there was a lot of imagination here with the pumpkins, except for maybe one. But I kind of liked what he did. It was, we'll call it a yeah, not gonna say that word. But he did a good job just punching a couple holes. I thought that was funny. And I loved the one with Paul Bump. I mean, how can you not appreciate that pumpkin? So I want to thank everybody that participated. Remind everybody to go vote. Probably not supposed to say this, but vote the levy. It's important. It's one of the reasons why Harrison County is what it is because we have a great education system. I don't think statewide, it's I'm very proud of what goes on in Harrison County. And want to support that to continue. That's about it.
Have nothing. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.